And I remember her calling me because you all, the whole family, had reached their breaking point. You were not where you were. The bills were piling up, and when it really got to that end point, that's when she got the letter that you got approved.
Yes.
And that's when she called me, and it was exciting.
Yeah,
it was exciting.
I looked at my portal for workers' comp, and it says, we have accepted your claim. And first thing I did was call my wife, and I still hear the ringing in my ear from the speakerphone when she was screaming for joy.
Mm-hmm. That was a great day.
Yes.
So what do you feel, what was more important, the day that you got your claim accepted or having your, no, you don't answer that question. We won't put that on you. Which was more important, you getting your claim accepted or having a baby? So we won't even do that.
I had 4 of them, so which one?
So now that, and you've already answered my next question. My next question was going to be, how was your, which I do ask all of my, how was your stress level before meeting us? You've already answered that your stress level was just through the roof before getting your claim accepted. Now that we've got your claim accepted, your stress level, how's your stress level been since then?
It's been normal. Just dealing with everyday things and not having to deal with the pain and the weakness. I'm still dealing with that, but not on a excruciating level. The bills are paid.
What about your transportation back and forth from the doctor's office? Is that being reimbursed back to you?
Oh yeah, I just got in the mileage,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an easy form. You get it on the DOL website.
Welcome to the Back to Work Melbourne Podcast, where Dr. Dorfman is your federal workers' comp OWCP expert in Brevard County, Florida. In this podcast, you'll hear tips and tricks about the OWCP process, along with heartfelt patient testimonials from those we've helped get their claims approved. Tune in each week for insightful advice and inspiring stories that will guide you through your journey.
All right, Stephen, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
I've been waiting a long time to interview you, and everyone will know why once we get into this podcast, but you're one of my favorite interviews for a specific reason. It's great for you to be here, and let's get right into your injuries, what was going on with you before you started here, after you started here. So let's start from the beginning, and I know the beginning with you is a long time ago. When did you first injure yourself? And where do you work, by the way?
I work at the Palm Bay West Post Office.
Okay, like most of our patients, the post office.
Yeah, I deliver your mail.
I have such a renewed outlook on postal workers. I never knew until several years ago when I started treating federal workers' comp what goes into delivering the mail. Because we just see that square truck pull up to our mailbox and you see the person reach out and put the mail in. And we think, no big deal. I've never known how much goes into delivering the mail before it actually goes into our mailbox. You are the person who loads up your truck. So all the boxes and papers and everything that's in you did that this morning. You had to put all that stuff in your truck before you even got into your truck to deliver it.
Right.
So I just want to let you know, I appreciate you. I know at Christmas time, I stand outside my mailbox waiting for our postal person so I can give them presents because, again, I never knew how much goes into, for you, that one person delivering the mail. You do everything, putting everything, all those boxes and everything, and sometimes they're heavy, and gets into your mail truck, and then you deliver the whole thing. And all we see as normal people, all we see is that arm come out of the mail truck into our mailbox. That's all we see. And we don't know how much goes in addition to all the stress and aggravation that you go through with your supervisors and everyone else there. So I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Anyway, back to the podcast. So approximately when did you injure yourself?
2015.
2015. So that's 9 years ago.
Correct.
Okay. What part of your body?
Both my hands,
Okay.
my elbows,
Okay.
both sides of my elbows, actually. I
Okay.
got the outside and the inside.
Did you injure yourself on one particular occasion? Were you doing something where you heard something pop? Or is this an injury that just over time of just doing the same thing over and over again for all these years, is that how you obtained your injury?
It's just reciprocating.
Just over time.
Yeah, over
Okay.
time.
It's just an aggravation of those elbows and the wrist from doing the same thing for years and years.
Correct.
The reason why I ask you that is because so many people feel that if you didn't injure yourself on one particular occasion, lifting a box and you heard a pop in your back, or lifting your arm to put mail somewhere and then you hear a pop or a tear in your shoulder, people don't know that there's two kinds of injuries. There's the injury that you injure yourself on one particular occasion, like I just mentioned, and then there's also all of those injuries that people suffer whereby you've just been doing the same thing day after day, month after month, year after year, and eventually your body says, I can't take this anymore. And then you start to feel the neck pain or the back pain or the elbow pain or the wrist pain or the numbness down your arms or pain in your knee. People feel that if you've injured yourself over time, hey, that's just me. I'm getting older. And they don't know that's actually a federal workers' comp injury. That's an injury at the workplace. Even though it didn't happen on one particular occasion, it's been growing over years, and you are able to treat for that injury. We don't have to write down that you hurt yourself on one particular day. That's the difference between what's called a CA1 and a CA2. A CA1 form is the form you fill out when you hurt yourself on one particular occasion. A CA2 form is the form that you fill out when you didn't hurt yourself on one particular occasion, but it's just something that's been growing and getting worse and worse over time.
Yes, and that's the hardest thing to get approved through federal workers' comp, because you have to prove it
Yes.
beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yes.
And for that particular reason, it took so long.
How long?
It took 8.5 years.
When I first met, you met us by chance.
Yes.
You met us by chance when my girlfriend was talking to your wife, and she was, because she's known her for a long time, because she's a photographer, and she's known her for a long time. And one day they were talking, your wife was incredibly upset how injured her husband was, his pain, how long he's been in pain, and nobody's helping him, and the bills are racking up, and he's not working. And she said, where does he work? And she says, for the post office. When she found out that you work at the post office, she said, that's what Dave does all day, every day. Federal workers comp, the post office. And gave your wife, Sheena, our phone number. You called me, and we immediately got you in. And when I found out that your case had been denied for the last 8.5 years, I was excited. I was excited not only for you, but I was excited for me, because I knew that we were going to stop at nothing to get this case accepted. If a person is injured, a person is injured. And if a person is faking their injuries, where I've never known in federal workers' comp, but yeah, if a person is faking something, then they're going to know that. And that's why cases don't get accepted. But if a person is injured and your case just hasn't been accepted because the paperwork hasn't been filled out correctly, which oftentimes happens, I was so excited to meet you, not only to get you better, but certainly to document those injuries and be able to get your claim approved. And I knew that you were the longest, and you might forever always be the longest case that we got accepted. So how long, if you remember, how long did it take for us to get your claim accepted?
To go back a little bit, I was still working for the post office during all this time, because, I got kids to feed, bills to pay.
Sure.
And I just couldn't take it anymore. And I came into the office on August 8th, 2023.
That's like remembering the date that you had a baby.
Yes.
Or remembering the date that you got married.
They sat me down and said, look, we can't have you working anymore because you're going to injure it longer than you're going to injure it beyond repair.
Mm-hmm.
And so I took their advice, and used up all my sick leave, all my annual leave, and on the last day of my annual leave, I got approved.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful. My wife was so grateful. We went out and had a celebratory dinner, and my life has been a lot better. Less stress on me, less stress on my wife, and just focusing on getting better right now.
I remember, now that you mentioned it, I remember her calling me because you all, the whole family, had reached their breaking point. You were not where you were. The bills were piling up, and when it really got to that end point, that's when she got the letter that you got approved.
Yes.
And that's when she called me, and it was exciting.
Yeah,
it was exciting.
I looked at my portal for workers' comp, and it says, we have accepted your claim. And first thing I did was call my wife, and I still hear the ringing in my ear from the speakerphone when she was screaming for joy.
Mm-hmm. That was a great day.
Yes.
So what do you feel, what was more important, the day that you got your claim accepted or having your, no, you don't answer that question. We won't put that on you. Which was more important, you getting your claim accepted or having a baby? So we won't even do that.
I have 4 of them, so which one?
So now that, and you've already answered my next question. My next question was going to be, how was your, which I do ask all of my, how was your stress level before meeting us? You've already answered that your stress level was just through the roof before getting your claim accepted. Now that we've got your claim accepted, your stress level, how's your stress level been since then?
It's been normal. Just dealing with everyday things and not having to deal with the pain and the weakness. I'm still dealing with that, but not on a excruciating level. The bills are paid.
What about your transportation back and forth from the doctor's office? Is that being reimbursed back to you?
Oh yeah, I just got in the mileage,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an easy form. You get it on the DOL website. I'm on my second run of filling that out.
So before you got your claim accepted, for 8.5 years, you're going to doctor's offices in all different areas. You're having to pay for your transportation, all that money out of your pocket for gas to get to all your different doctors. So for 8.5 years, you weren't going to the doctor. You were going to the doctors using your health insurance,
Mm-hmm.
but you're having to pay out of your pocket because your health insurance never pays 100%. So you're paying your co-insurance, your deductibles, just all the different bills that come to you after you went to the doctor's office. Medication, you're having to pay that out of your pocket. You're having to pay everything out of your pocket, including your transportation expenses, which when you go through federal workers' comp, once your claim is approved, all of that is paid. Now you're not paying any money out of your pocket.
No.
Because your bills are paid up at 100%. You're getting reimbursed for your travel expenses.
Yes.
And it's probably a whole lot less stress on the family.
Oh yeah. The only thing I don't like doing is making that 30-minute drive, but the treatment here is excellent. And I come here twice a week, and I leave feeling a little bit better.
Good. We're going to continue getting you that little bit better because you've had this injury for so long before we started.
Mm-hmm.
So it just doesn't happen overnight. It's just something that we continue to get you better and better. We're able to refer you out to other doctors, things that we can't do. So we're able to refer you on over to orthopedic doctors, which gets accepted. We're able to refer you for diagnostic testing like MRIs and CT scans and things like that. That gets accepted. Once we get your case accepted, which we did, then everything begins to like it was always supposed to, whereby you do have great insurance through the federal workers' comp program.
Yes.
You just need to get it accepted, and which means you need to go to the right doctors like us at Federal Injury Centers. And now everything is moving forward. We're getting you the right care, but now it just takes time to get you better.
Yes. And I'd like to add that for those 2 months that I was coming here before I got accepted, they took it upon themselves to still treat me and not get paid for it because they knew that they were going to get approved.
Correct.
So I was grateful for that.
We are grateful for our federal workers' comp patients, and we know it's going to get approved. And I didn't become a doctor to just treat patients who have insurance. If I'm able to help you with the education that I have and with the different providers that we have here in the office, if someone needs help, we're here to help you, regardless of being able to pay for it. With the federal workers' comp program, I know we're going to get your case accepted. I was so excited when I met you because it was going to be so much fun getting your case accepted after 8.5 years. And I knew that it was gonna happen. It was just a matter of time. So we just started treating you, and hey, whenever it happens, if it happens in a couple of months or if it happens in a couple of years, I didn't care because we were not gonna sleep until your case got accepted, because there's no reason for it to not get accepted. There was no reason for it not to get accepted at the beginning. There was no reason for it not to get accepted now. And we were just not gonna sleep until we got your case accepted. And luckily, it only took a couple months because we couldn't afford much less sleep. But I was just so excited when your case got accepted. And now we just continue to treat you and get you better.
Speaking of sleep, I had trouble sleeping with all this tingling and
Sure.
numbness. And my wife, I would always hit her in the side of the head because I couldn't feel my arms. I'm glad that I'm able to sleep. I'm sure she's glad that
And
I'm
now
able to
she's
sleep.
not getting hit in the head anymore.
Probably not, but she hasn't told me anything.
Okay. It was great talking to you. I want to do another podcast when you're 100% better, but I'm glad you're here today. I was so excited when we first started doing these podcasts because I wanted you to be one of our patients that we interviewed, because 8.5 years is a long time not to get your case accepted. And I don't know, through all my next years doing this, I don't know if I'm ever going to have another patient who had to have wait that long, but it just made us feel so good that we were able to do that for you.
If you do find one, I want to interview them.
All right. Well, it was nice to see you.